what I wanted to just talk about, end this video on, that we've been talking about religion, is evil. You know, the hell aspects of it. What role, first off, do you think the world is made good? Do you think the world is made good, or do you think evil is a necessary part of the existence that we have?
I mean, I think the world, without the people first, was, not a matter of good or evil. I think it was perfect. And then I think once we came, it was something like perfection. But, we have the ability to make choices, even under the most excruciating, circumstances. And maybe because of natural law, things go bad much quicker than things go good. Maybe that helps us appreciate good times and actually get to good times, right? Because things are so drastically bad, we have to all agree, we messed up in a big way. So we have to come together, maybe sacrifice our, worldly pleasures. We might not even see the next civilization or good society come true, but we'll die for that cause. But I think this is where you get good and evil starts to compound. It's like a compounding thing. And it definitely is a line. We know this from childhood. We know in high school, for whatever reason in high school, there were some fights you wouldn't separate and some you would separate straight away. And maybe you saw it because of a size difference or weight difference, and no one explained to you, never pick on someone bigger than you. You would maybe hear it, but for the most part I don't think people knew. But for whatever reason in the playground, if you saw some really big guy pick on a really small guy, for whatever reason everyone just knew, this is not okay. This person has an insecurity as big as him. Let's jump in and stop this.
So the question I've been thinking about deeply for a long time is the role that evil has in what we do. I think, because I think the world isn't good or evil. I think the world just is, and human beings have a way of kind of categorizing these things. I think there's so many things that happen in the world which is clearly evil, and I think the world continues to do it because it's all about perspective. And that's the most difficult thing to wrangle. And as religious people, we want to just make everything black and white. Everything is just good or evil. God says sin. Everything in the Bible is what should be in the Bible and is what should stay. But I think if you truly think about these topics properly, then you understand that morality changes with times. As time grows, as we learn more things, as we get more and more into the idea of who we are, we learn more about psychology, we learn about people. The things that we assume to be evil, we now look at people as just an aspect of people, what people are. And also it changes over time. So the question I want to ask is on this path that you're on, that I'm on, how do we deal with sins, and how do we deal with when we fall short, and how do we deal with when we see evil in the world and we want to actually stamp it out, but we know that it's much bigger than us, and these things are just something that's a part of nature, a part of the thing that we all exist in, the play that we all part of.
It depends, right? Like all things. I think when natural disaster hits, no one asks why. You ask why when you're mourning for the people you're burying, let's say, and you say, why God, why us, why now, why my child, why my father, why my brother. But in the moment you don't say why, right? Because you're like, okay, we need to get grandma, we need to get the kids. Is everyone out the house? If let's say the house is on fire, is everyone out? Have we called the fire trucks? Instinctively what is your priority, and in that moment it's obviously human life, right? And what's the highest form of love? Sacrifice. And we see this time and time again. Who would sign up to be a fireman? It's such a crazy thing. You're literally walking into the flames of hell, but we know why, and we know why. When those bells ring, why all of us get out of the way and we risk, our own safety sometimes, because that's something so important. Human life is not something you can measure against something else. It's given to us. So yeah, in times like that, extreme times where it's a matter of life and death, we know what to do. But it's about, is the fire like man-made or is it natural? A lot of times we came to these terrible things because we should have said no when we should have said it, and now it's too late. Or we should have said yes to things when we should have said it, and we knew better, but we didn't. But in most cases, it's that, right? It's putting our pride before our faith. It's putting our wants before our needs. It's like, I want to have 10 children, or I want to have another wife. But it's like, okay, but what does God want? And then you find yourself facing that question, like, because of your free will, I have the ability to live a lie, pretend I can be God, because like the world is crazy. We have a man in America that can press a button, blow the whole thing up now.
Not just America.
Of course, yes.
In like
but in the most fantastical way. It's Americans do fireworks the best. But so yeah, in this life you're faced with that question: am I going to be like God and follow his steps that he showed me? He gave me the ability to connect, have a relationship with him. Or am I going to be God, which is a lie? But we see where lies get us, right? They get us into these camps, they get us into these homes that burn. It's really terrible.
What kind of realizations, or what have you learned about what is something you've kind of come to terms with in order for you to understand what you understand about religion? What's something about you, what's something about your existence that you come to terms with? Are they trying to get in the video? You're trying to get in the video? Come talk about religion.
I feel like John's
what? Yeah, what's something you've come to terms with about yourself for you to actually embrace this religious journey that you're on?